Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for clicking on this video. This is I Seth Kills, otherwise known as Nick, and today we're going to be talking about Moon Knight. This came out, I think, about 2 or 3 months ago. A little bit late in watching it. I just had a chance to dive in, and I was a little worried at first, to be honest, but I liked it. That's my first impressions. I did enjoy it. Had a little bit of worries from watching other reviews that it might be a little bit woke, but it really wasn't. I thought all the actors did really well. Oscar Isaac, Ethan Hawke, um, May Calamawy, who played Layla. She did very good. I thought she did really excellent in the role. Everybody in this show did really good, to be honest. And I have a fascination with ancient Egypt. I've always love learning about ancient Egypt history and the mythology of the gods. So this kind of laid right into what I'm interested in, to be honest. Um, the storyline was excellent. From what I know about Moonlight, he was more in the comic books. He was more like a Batman type character where he was rich. He did had multiple personas, personalities. That was more just trying to, I guess one was kind of like a rich personality. The other one obviously was Moon Knight, and the other one was a mercenary. So he just kind of had different personas that he kind of lived normal lives with. And then later on, those personas ended up giving him some mental issues, and he didn't know which one was which or which one he was actually. So, or at least that's what I understood. So I kind of like what they did in the TV show, and that it was more of a mental issue and that he had like a multiple personality disorder. And because of the trauma he went through in his past um, with his mother, which sucked, to see. But I mean, a lot of people, deal with that. He was beaten, and that trauma caused him to, create a alternate personality. And the alternate personality choice that he created was from a hero on TV, kind of like an Indiana Jones type character that he kind of became. And he even took the British accent, which, by the way, Oscar Isaac, his British accent, like, is very on point because it's like that slang British accent. So to do that and then switch back to American accent is very talented. So I enjoyed his adaptation of Moon Knight, and especially his Steven, and him switching back um, to Mark. And then I kind of wanted to see what Jake was all about, but I guess that's the reason why the show was kind of hinting and blacking out. Like that's the one thing, and another thing about the show too. There was a lot of, especially the last battle where Ethan Hawke's character was about to, kill Moon Knight, and then he blacks out, and then suddenly, it's a reverse where he has Ethan Hawke basically at death. And I just really wish we could have seen that. I wonder if they're going to go back to it maybe in the next season, kind of like a, you know, daydream or something like that, just to kind of show us how he defeated them. And I guess Jake is very, from the looks of it, anyways, he seems like he's very violent and he's ready to kill, especially with the last scene of the show, the ending credit scene where Khonshu, shows that he's still with, Moon Knight, basically, Mark and Steven, but they're asleep and Jake is in control. And Jake, first time we see him, take control of the body, he goes ahead and kills Ethan Hawke, or at least we think he does. He does because they don't really show it. They show or let us hear the shots, but they don't let us see the death. So I don't know what that means. Maybe they'll bring him back because it is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? But so I did enjoy the whole alternate ego. I enjoyed them when they were in the duat and they have to balance out their hearts, and they basically kind of have to tell each other, or at least Mark has to tell Steven, um, what he doesn't know about the trauma that he's kind of being held back, and the reason why he created him, and the point that he even created him because he thought he was the original. And the only thing I don't get about that part though is that, if they're balancing out the heart, right? Like if they're, basically have to be balanced. Well, Jake is part of that personality. And from what it looks like Jake probably has done some really messed up shit. So how can they be balanced if Jake wasn't even involved? And Jake was shown, he was in one of those caskets and he was shaking, but they didn't even bother opening it. So I wonder why they didn't open it. First of all, what do they want to save whoever's in there? But they kind of just walked past it. But overall, the fight, ending fight with Ethan Hawke was good. Like I said, I really wish I saw how Moon Knight took him out, and that kind of happens multiple times throughout the show, where neither Mark or Steven was in control. Jake was, but they never show when Jake's in control. Um, I enjoyed um, when Layla got her powers from uh, from the hippo. I forgot which god. I think it's Tarawet. Tarawet. Probably really killing that pronunciation, but that's the hippo god, and she kind of comes out really strong. With wings, she can fly, she can block bullets. I'm pretty sure she had super strength, and that's the thing that's interesting about the comic books is Moon Knight as a character in comic books. From what I understood, he's more like Batman, so he doesn't really have like the super strength, and like his daggers and weapons that he uses doesn't just come out of nowhere like magically as it does in the show. So I kind of like this take on Moon Knight better, where he's more, powerful and he uses like magic basically. So I wonder if the comic books, they changed it, or if there was a version of Moon Knight that was more magical and more, had more strength, um, than a normal human. So I wonder if that was the same in the comic books. But I like this direction of the character. I like that his vulnerability, was coming to terms with his alter ego and basically, having a brother relationship almost to that alter ego to where he loved him like a brother. He risked his life going back into the duat, to save that alter ego, even though he knew he made him up. And I think a lot of that was because, he helped him a lot when stuff was happening with his mom and being abused. Steven gave him that out, gave him that escape when it was happening. And, I think a lot of people could relate. I'm not, maybe not to the full extent, but could relate to a traumatizing event that, we kind of block out in how we deal with that, in our own lives. So, and this is what I was talking about in the She Hulk video when I was talking about that, first episode, is you don't really have that relatableness in that show. And this is what I'm talking about is where you need that relatableness to where you feel compelled, to watch, how it turns out, because you feel, related to that problem in some way, shape, or form, or at least that problem that he's dealing with. And it's a little bit more compelling as you watch it because I don't know, like with me, like certain things that happen in movies and TV shows that happen in my life, how they deal with it, this kind of directs me not how to deal with my own issues, but like, hey, they dealt with that way. I might not do it exactly that way, but hey, they eventually did it, and that gives me kind of hope, right? I may not do it exactly the way they do it, right? But it gives me hope that the problem that they had, I also have, and that they dealt with it and they successfully dealt with it. So I don't know. With me, when you can relate to stuff in movies and TV shows, and it gives you a little bit of hope and joy, and um, I don't know. To me, it's just a lot more better. You feel a lot more compelled. So overall, this TV show is only 6 episodes, and I kind of wish it was a little bit longer. Um, I kind of wish they flushed out a little bit more, of all 3 characters, but I understand why they did it. It's a little bit more of a cliffhanger, and they're saving it for later and not really rushing it, which is what they seem like they're doing in the first episode of She-Hulk. So I do enjoy them not rushing the story, so that's good. Um, so if you haven't watched it yet, I definitely suggest watching it. This wasn't going to be a play-by-play of the whole TV show, but I enjoyed the whole origin. I enjoyed how they flushed out all three personalities. Well, not all three. Well, yeah, all three, because I guess if you count Moon Knight as an alter ego, that's three. And the Jake would be the fourth. But I enjoyed how they flushed all of them out and how they kind of created that bond between Steve and Mark. I enjoyed Layla's character. I thought, seeing that bond, of Mark and Layla and seeing that love and how they found love and why he separated from her, basically to protect her. And then Steven basically falling in love with her also. And Steven's basically Mark. I mean, and both of them are basically brothers. So they kind of both love her. So it was kind of interesting to see that whole dynamic. And then Layla kind of fall in love with both Mark and Steven and kind of coming to terms that they're both the same person. So I kind of liked that and seeing that on screen. And I thought Ethan Hawke did a really excellent job, with playing that antagonist. So if you haven't seen it yet, it's only 6 episodes. I think about like 40 minutes episode. And if you enjoy the whole ancient Egypt gods and the whole power aspect and the magic aspect and the supernatural aspect uh, of a movie or TV show, I think you'll enjoy this. Oscar Isaac, like I said, did amazing with the whole alter egos and playing all the different personalities and switching back and forth on a cue. It was really entertaining to see on screen. I mean, he definitely was the thing that kept it interesting, which is nice to see. I mean, they didn't shit on the character, which is what I kind of was afraid of. I thought they were going to make him look like a wimp or a wuss, but I mean, when he was Steven and he was Moon Knight, he didn't really know what he was doing. That being said, I mean, it was explainable through the story. So they just didn't make him look stupid for stupid's sake. But yeah, guys, if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. I definitely did enjoy it. It wasn't perfect by any means, but it was definitely enjoyable, and all the actors did a very excellent job, and the story was very entertaining to watch. And yeah, that's my thoughts on it, guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it in the video. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and I will catch you on the next one.